place of supply chapter. So place of supply segment 7. In place of supply, total we have 5 sections. Section 11, 12, 10, 13, 14 and one more section 14A. So they have added. Now in that, first we need to see, in case of goods there are 2 sections. So if it is domestic transactions, section 10 will be applicable. If it is international transaction, import or export, section 11 will be applicable. For services, only 2 sections, 12 and 13. If supplier and recipient both are in India, section 12. If any one in India, other outside India, then it will be section 13. Okay. And here, what if both are outside India? Definitely place of supply cannot be determined, and because services are exempted. So if both supplier and recipient are outside India, place of supply cannot be determined for such services and they are exempted. So what should be taken as place of supply in case of goods? There are total 5 situations. Try to remember with the clause number. 10(1)(a), supply involves movement of goods. 10(1)(b), bill to ship to transaction. 10(1)(c), supply does not involve movement of goods. 10(1)(d), assembly or installation at site. 10(1)(e), supply of goods on board a conveyance. In case of 10(1)(a), supply involves movement of goods, means under a contract of supply we are moving goods from one location to another location. We need to see whether it is B2B or B2C. B2B means ending point. B2C means location of recipient in the records of supplier. Otherwise, location of supplier will be taken as place of supply. Then next, we have supply does not involve movement of goods. 10(1)(c). There also we have B2B, B2C classification. This B2B, B2C classification for goods is in 10(1)(a) and 10(1)(c). Supply involves movement of goods. Supply does not involve movement of goods. So for B2C it is same. Location of recipient in the records of supplier, otherwise location of supplier. But for B2B, for 10(1)(a), supply involves movement of goods, ending point. Supply does not involve movement of goods, location of goods at the time of delivery. For example, I am a seller of a ship and my ship is located in Mumbai, I am located in Tamil Nadu. You are the buyer of the ship and you are located in Kerala, but the ship is in Mumbai, and I gave you the documents, I collected the money. Supply does not involve movement of goods. Suppose if it is B2B, then the location of goods at the time of delivery, so location of ship is in Mumbai, Mumbai will be taken as place of supply. Suppose if it is B2C, then location of recipient in the record, so that will be Kerala will be taken as the place of supply. So it will vary. Okay. Then next we have bill to ship to transactions. In case of bill to ship to transactions, remember 10(1)(b), B for bill to ship to and B for billing address. Billing address will be taken as the place of supply. In bill to ship to transaction, there is a possibility of another supply between whom? Billing address and the shipping address. Say for example, I am raising invoice to you by deliver the goods to your shipping address. Then in that case, for me, your address will be taken as the place of supply. But you in turn will raise invoice to that shipping address. So what will be taken as the place of supply? That will be supply involves movement of goods. 10(1)(a), again B2B, location of, that is ending point. B2C, location of recipient in the records of supplier, otherwise location of supplier, like that. So that's how we need to determine here. Then whenever it is a bill to ship to transaction, billing address is taken as place of supply. There is one confusion because of one circular. There is one circular that has been given that what should be taken as the place of supply in case of sale of goods through e-commerce platform to an unregistered person. Whenever there is sale of goods to an unregistered person through e-commerce platform, then definitely 10(1)(b) should not be applied. That you keep in mind, even though there is a different address. For example, you are placing an order and you wanted me to deliver. I am a seller and I need to sell through Amazon. You placed an order, you are from Tamil Nadu, you wanted me to deliver to an address in Kerala, or you wanted me to deliver to an address in some other place, then in that case definitely 10(1)(b) should not be applied. Then what should be taken? There is a circular which says that in that case you determine as per 10(1)(a), supply involves movement of goods, but it is unregistered person. So B2C, location of recipient in the records of supplier. What is the location of recipient? As there are 2 different address. If it is the same address, no problem. As it is a different address, we need to take delivery address, not the billing address. Delivery address should be taken. And delivery address means we don't have full address. Just the state is sufficient to be called as address mentioned in the records. So usually place of supply is the location of recipient in the records of supplier. In the absence of such details, place of supply is location of supplier. If the billing and delivery address match, place of supply will be address recorded in the invoice. If the billing and delivery address does not match, place of supply will be delivery address recorded on the invoice. Okay, delivery address. Name of state on the invoice is sufficient to be considered as recording the address of the recipient. Okay. Now, in this regard, I have given one question. You can have a look into that. So, this is question number 9, page 652. Reliance Digital Limited, an e-commerce company registered in Mumbai, Maharashtra, sells electronic goods across India through its online platform. On 10th October 2024, a customer, Mr. Ravi, an unregistered individual, placed an order for a television priced at 1,20,000. Mr. Ravi's billing address is in Pune, Maharashtra, but he requests delivery of the television to his vacation home located in Goa. Additional information: the GST rate applicable on the television is 18%. Reliance Digital has received several similar orders. For the order placed by Mr. Ravi, the company issued invoice on 12th October and the television was dispatched on 13th October. Now, you are required to determine the place of supply for the television in this scenario. Here, it is supplied through e-commerce platform. Whenever it is supplied through e-commerce platform, we need to take billing address or delivery address. If it is matching, no issue. If it is not matching, delivery address. What is the delivery address? Pune, Maharashtra, or Goa? Goa should be taken as the place of supply. So, Goa's billing address and delivery address does not match. Second point, compute the GST payable on this transaction and specify whether CGST, SGST or IGST will be applicable. So, location of supplier, Reliance Digital, Mumbai, Maharashtra, place of supply, Goa, therefore it will be interstate supply chargeable to IGST, and the value will be here 1,20,000 into rate of GST 18%, so 21,600. Next, third, explain the impact on GST liability of Reliance Digital if the billing address and delivery address were same. If the billing address and delivery address is same, there won't be any confusion. So, we will take the billing address only, that is in Maharashtra, and consequently it will become intrastate supply because Reliance Digital is also in Maharashtra, and the liability will be CGST and SGST. Calculate the total invoice value. Total invoice value is 1,20,000 plus 21,600, 1,41,600. That Mr. Ravi would need to pay if the place of supply is determined. And they may also ask about time of supply. What will be taken as time of supply? Is it supply involving movement of goods or supply does not involve movement of goods? Supply involves movement of goods. So, what will be taken as the due date of invoice at the time of removal? What is the time of removal? So, that is 13th October. So, 13th October is the due date of invoice. But what is the actual date of invoice? 12th October. Usually, time of supply in case of goods is due date of invoice or actual date of invoice, whichever is earlier. Suppose if they are under composition scheme or specified actionable claims only, we need to bring in date of payment also. So, therefore, here 12th October or 13th October, whichever is earlier will be 12th October. Okay. So, time of supply is 12th October, being actual date of invoice as due date of invoice is 13th October. So, they can connect this point to time of supply also. So, that is about these three provisions that we have seen. Now, 10(1)(d), goods assembled or installed at site. Location where it is assembled or installed will be taken as the place of supply. And 10(1)(e), supply of goods on board a conveyance. So, during the journey when the goods are being sold, we need to take starting point of the goods, location where the goods are loaded or boarded, that should be taken. And in case of food items which are cooked outside and packed into the packed and then loaded into the conveyance, it should be treated as goods only. Even though supply of food is supply of service, but in this case when the food is cooked outside and packed and taken, it should be treated as goods. However, if the food is cooked inside the train, in the pantry car, and when it is sold, that will be treated as supply of service only, because we have two separate provisions: goods sold on board a conveyance and supply of service on board a conveyance. So, there we will get a confusion. That's why we need to take this assumption. Then, in case of confusion between 10(1)(d) and 10(1)(e) versus 10(1)(a)(b)(c). For example, I am located in Maharashtra, I am supplier of generator, and you are a recipient who you are also located in Maharashtra. I am selling generator, you are buying generator. You are having a branch in Tamil Nadu. So you are asking me to install the generator in the branch in Tamil Nadu. I will raise invoice to you. I will deliver the generator in Tamil Nadu and install it there. If you apply 10(1)(b), so billing address, shipping address, bill to ship to, so billing address Maharashtra will be taken as place of supply. If you apply 10(1)(d), where am I installing? I am installing in Tamil Nadu. So then what should be taken, 10(1)(b) or 10(1)(d)? Whenever there is a confusion between ABC versus D and E, D and E only will prevail because D and D are specific provisions. So in case of conflict between 10(1)ABC over 10(1)D and E, then 10(1)D and E shall prevail because specific provision shall prevail over general provisions. Then next, so here in case of services, if supplier in India and recipient is outside India, then place of supply is determined under section 13, and if it is in India, always it will be deemed to be interstate supply, as the reference of intrastate supply is only with respect to section 12. Now we are moving on to place of supply in case of services. In this, what we need to understand is that, so first we need to know the situation. Then accordingly, if it is 12, what is the place of supply? 13, what is the place of supply? When 12, both are in India. When 13, either one in India, other outside India. General provisions will be applicable. So when general provisions, in the absence of specific provision, general provision will be applicable. For the purpose of section 12, what should be taken? B to B, location of recipient. B to C, location of recipient in the records of supplier, otherwise location of supplier. Whereas section 13, there is no B to B, B to C, always B to C kind of only, that is location of recipient in the records of supplier, otherwise location of supplier. The next aspect that you need to know is that there are 3 services in 12 where B2B, B2C classification will be applicable. What are those 3 services for which B2B, B2C will be applicable? Training and performance appraisal services, organizing an event, and transportation of goods or passengers. TOT. In case of this TOT, training and performance appraisal, organizing an event, or transportation of goods or passengers only, we have B2B, B2C classification. In all other places, we have only one place of supply provision. So wherever this B2B, B2C comes, the B2B will be always location of recipient. What are the 3 places? Training and performance appraisal, organizing an event, transportation of goods or passengers. That you need to remember. And thereafter, location of supplier will be taken as place of supply under section 13 in 3 places. In 3 places under section 13, location of supplier will be taken as place of supply. What is that? That is RBI. R for renting of immobile property. Correct? No. Renting of motor vehicle. Renting of motor vehicle other than aircraft or vessel up to a period of 1 month. So then B for banking services, and I for intermediary services. You can see here, renting of other than aircraft or vessel up to a period of 1 month, banking services only to account holders, and intermediary services. These 3 places only we have location of supplier as the place of supply. These 2 special points you need to keep in mind. So therefore in section 12 from now on we should not remember B2B, B2C classification. You remember only B2C provisions because already you know where B2B will come and what will be taken as the place of supply in case of B2B. First, suppose if it is service in relation to immobile property, use your logic. In relation to immobile property location will be taken as place of supply. For 12 also same, 13 also same, location of immobile property. But for 13, one special point is there. Suppose if the property is located outside India, then location of recipient. Like this is adjustment, that is a special point is applicable even in case of organizing an event. So go to organizing an event. In case of organizing an event related, you can see organizing an event. So logically what should be taken as place of supply? Location of event. Let it be 12 also, 13 also. Location of event only taken as the place of supply. Correct or not? Of course, for organizing an event, B2B, B2C is there. That already we know. So you remember, try to remember to the logic to the extent possible. Service in relation to immobile property, location of property. 12 also property, 13 also property. But for 12, one special point is there. If the property is located outside India, location of recipient. Then you go to event related. In that event related also, admission to event, no confusion. Always admission to event, logically location of event. Organizing an event also, location of event. But that adjustment we have even in case of organizing an event. In case of section 12, if the event is located outside India, then location of recipient will be taken. These are the two places where if the place of supply is outside India, then location of recipient will be taken. That is in case of renting service in relation to immobile property and organizing an event in the context of section 12. Then next one. So you have completed immobile property and you completed event related also. Then look into transportation sector. For transportation sector, transportation of goods, transportation of passengers. We already know B2B, B2C classification will come, and B2B means location of recipient, but you need to remember only B2C. Easily remember transportation of goods, section 12, starting point of goods, transportation of passenger, starting point of passenger, service on board a conveyance, starting point of conveyance. These 3 points easily you can remember. Transportation of goods, starting point of goods, transportation of passenger, starting point of passenger, service on board a conveyance, starting point of conveyance. Whereas section 13, for section 13 also ditto copy paste same, except for transportation of goods it is general provisions. Here also starting point of passenger, here also starting point of passenger, here also starting point of conveyance, here also starting point of conveyance. Only in the context of section 13 transportation of goods it will be general provisions. So first I asked you to remember general provisions, thereafter I asked you to remember these two special notes, and then you need to see immobile property, then you need to see event related, then you need to see transportation. So easily you can remember this, and thereafter I asked you to remember 3 more points, that is RBI. So that is hiring of means of transport other than aircraft or vessel up to 1 month. Location of supplier will be taken as place of supply up to 1 month, correct? And banking and other financial services to account holders, location of supplier, intermediary services, location of supplier. In all other cases, general provisions, let it be section 12 or section 13. So these 3 also easily you can remember, that is RBI, location of supplier. What if it is banking service to other than account holders? General provision. What if it is hiring of aircraft or vessel? General provision. What if it is hiring of other than aircraft or vessel beyond 1 month? General provision. So in 12 we don't have any specific provision, so general provisions. So these 3 also easily you can remember, got it? And next the remaining cases we will see, got it? So first general provisions, B2B, B2C, location of recipient in the records of supplier, otherwise location of supplier. For 12, location of recipient, if not location of recipient in the records of supplier not available, then location of supplier. So first you remember these general provisions. Then second point, B2B, B2C classification. So you can write that, so that when you are quickly revising also it will be easy, because you cannot remember, or this much load cannot be taken into your mind. So because of that you will make a mistake. That's why you should remember as simple as you can. First you remember this, then you go to this point. What is that? B2B, B2C classification, where it is required. TOT, training and performance appraisal, organizing an event, transportation of goods or passengers. So there we got, so B2B, B2C always it will be applicable there, and B2B will be location of recipient. In these cases what should be taken as B2B? B2B will be location of recipient. And then third point, that is what you need to remember is this 3 you need to remember in relation to immobile property and event related. These 2 has one common. So property related service, location of property will be taken, event related service, location of event will be taken. And in this organizing an event, if the event is located outside India, location of recipient for 12, even property located outside India, location of property will be taken as place of supply. Thereafter you need to complete this transportation related. This transportation related will be point number 4 that you need to remember. In that what you need to see. So transportation of goods, starting point of goods, transportation of passenger, starting point of passenger, like service on board a conveyance, starting point of conveyance. Whereas in case of section 13, first case it is general provision for transportation of goods. Next to copy paste, starting point of passenger and starting point of conveyance. This is the 4th step that you need to remember. Then fifth step is this, that is section 13, location of supplier will be taken as the place of supply. RBI, that is renting of motor vehicles, which motor vehicle other than aircraft or vessel up to a period of 1 month. Banking services to account holders, intermediary services. In this case location of supplier will be taken as place of supply, and that is location of supplier will be place of supply. All other cases it will be general provisions. Okay, for section 12 also general provisions, for section 13 also remaining cases, balancing figure it will be general provisions. See, to a major extent we have simplified. And then next case what you need to see is about telecommunication service and advertisement service to government. In the context of 13, we don't have any provision. So general provision. So for 12 only you need to remember. So you need to remember this point number 6 and point number 7. Point number 6 and 7. What is common in this? So for the context of 12 only we have provision. For 13 we don't have provision. What is that? Telecommunication services. In case of telecommunication service, it also includes internet, broadband, DTH services. First you need to see fixed line. Fixed line means location where it is installed. Suppose if it is mobile postpaid, billing address, mobile prepaid, then dealer address, and online recharge, it will be general provisions. Okay, fixed line, location of installation, mobile postpaid, billing address, mobile prepaid, dealer address, online recharge, it will be general provision. Then advertisement service to government. Each state where the advertisement is provided will be taken as place of supply. In the context of 13, we don't have any provisions in this place. This is also over. Then finally, we will remember performance based service in relation to individuals and performance based service in relation to goods. So therefore, thereafter you need to read this 8 and 9. With that, this table will be over. So 8, performance based service in relation to individuals. In that, with the context of section 12, only in 3 places we have performance based services specific provision. What are they? Food and beauty related, training and performance appraisal. Okay, for food, beauty, then training and performance appraisal. But for training and performance appraisal, we have B2B, B2C classification, and other places it will be location of performance. That's common. All these things common only. If you see food and beverages, beauty treatment, location of performance. Training and performance appraisal also location of performance. Any other service we don't have specific provision, so general provisions. Whereas in case of section 13 you need to check whether physical presence of the recipient required or not required. If required, then location of performance, otherwise general provisions. So therefore what you need to remember is the specific provision. Balancing figure will be general provisions. How you need to remember? Performance based service in relation to individuals. In the context of section 12, 3 services: food and catering, food and beverages, beauty treatment, training and performance appraisal, location of performance. Again here section 13, physical presence of the recipient required, location of performance. All other cases it will be general provisions. Then performance based service in relation to goods. In the context of 12 we don't have any provision, so general provisions. In the context of section 13, whether physical presence of the recipient goods are required, then location of physical presence of goods are required, then location of performance. But we have 4 exceptions. In those 4 exceptions, this will not be applicable. We need to go by the general provision, that is location of recipient will be taken. What are those 4 exceptions? Goods temporarily imported for carrying out repairs or any other process, and it is exported after repairs or process without being put to use. And next one, if there is a research or any services provided on pharmaceutical products or drugs which is imported, and on that also it will be location of recipient. Number 3, repairs, maintenance and overall in relation to aircrafts which is used for business purpose. Last, ships used for business purpose. These 4 exceptions. In these 4 exceptions, even though it is performance based service in relation to goods, physical presence of the goods are required, performance location will not be taken, but location of recipient will be taken as place of supply. Suppose if physical presence of the goods not required, location of goods. And in case of OIDR services, if you see, so general provisions only, and even 13 also location of recipient, which is nothing but a general provision. So there is nothing special that we need to remember in this case. And by mistake also don't write subsection in an exam, because in subsection when you are writing, so you will make a mistake. Section you write section 12, section 13, so that there won't be any problem. Because when you write the subsection, that's where the real confusions will come, and you will also break your head, etc. and all. So section you write section 12, section 13, so that the answer will be perfect. Okay. Next, here, so we completed actually. So this is the way in which you need to remember this. Quickly you can complete. Then look into intermediary services. What will be taken as the intermediary, or who will be taken as intermediary services? Intermediary means there is a main activity and one person who is just connecting the 2 people will be called as an intermediary. and intermediary service is like a one-off transaction. It is not a continuity. For example, you need to do some work which you outsource to me. I will not be called as intermediary. Means there is a supplier, there is a recipient, I am just connecting the supplier and recipient, then I will be called as an intermediary. An intermediary is someone who arranges or facilitates the supply of goods or services or securities between two or more persons, wherein two of them transact in supply of goods or services or securities, that is the main supply, and the one in arranging or facilitating the said main supply. Therefore, outsourced activities do not fall under intermediary services. So, outsourcing will not come. So, always remember, intermediary services should not be a continuing activity. Intermediary is just the connection between supplier and the recipient. Okay. Then we have IGST rules for determination of place of supply. Now, so far whatever we have discussed is only the very important area. These IGST rules, they have not tested in exams so far. Maybe they could be tested. So, you try to remember the logic in this so that you can definitely do. This is like in overhead chapter, whenever you have a common cost that needs to be segregated between production departments, you will take one basis of apportionment for the purpose of segregation. The same logic. Here also there are lot of items wherein there will be division between the states. What should be taken as the basis of apportionment for division between the states? For example, first one, rule 3, advertisement services to government. In case of advertisement services to government, the place of supply will be each state where the advertisement is provided. But what if there is a single contract price? Suppose if the advertisement is on the train, then we need to see length of track as a base of apportionment. If the advertisement is on the train tickets, then we need to see number of stations in each state as a base of apportionment. Suppose if the advertisement is on television, now you see viewership data, who will publish? BARC, Broadcast Audience Research Council. When they will publish? Last quarter, last week data should be taken for the purpose of apportionment. And what if it pertains to more than one state? Then you divide it based on population census. First between the channels based on viewership, and that channel is in more than one state, population census should be taken. Then suppose if it is advertisement in internet, it is difficult to restrict. So due to that reason, if it is advertisement in internet, if the contract has not given any clarity about the state, then it is deemed to be across the country and it will be apportioned between all the states based on internet subscribers data. Suppose if the advertisement is through SMS, now you need to take telecom subscriber data last quarter, last week, and that should be divided between the states. Okay. And suppose if it is a telecom circle and that telecom circle is in more than one state, you need to take the population census. These are the 5 points. So train length of track and train ticket number of stations, TV, then internet, then SMS. Apart from this, any other expenditure we need to take, like any other case, any other mode of advertisement, like advertisement in cinema theater, advertisement in FM channel, advertisement in hoardings, like any other advertisement, we need to see the expenditure ratio. Expenditure ratio, for example, I am a newspaper agency and I will be getting money from the government to display the ad in 10 editions of my newspaper. Now these 10 editions will have different cost. For first page in one edition, there could be 10 lakhs and another edition could be 5 lakhs, yet another edition could be 4 lakhs. Depending upon the circulation, the first page will have a rate. So in that rate, I will divide the consideration. So therefore, the revenue will be recognized based on expenditure. This is what revenue recognition standard says. Got it? So my revenue I am recognizing based on my expenditure. That is about any other case, the expenditure ratio should be taken. Next, then we have Rule 4 and Rule 8. Rule 4 and Rule 8 is in the context of immobile property. So whenever we are providing service in relation to immobile property, what will be taken as a place of supply? Location of immobile property will be taken. What if immobile property is in more than one state? Then Rule 4 and Rule 8 will come. Rule 4 in the context of section 12, Rule 8 in the context of section 13 will come. What does it say? If it is accommodation services, see the number of nights stayed in each such property, in each such state, and based on that ratio you need to divide. For example, 3 nights in Tamil Nadu, 2 nights in Kerala and 1 night in Andhra Pradesh. In that ratio we need to divide. Suppose if it is accommodation in a houseboat, see the time that is spent in each state. So the houseboat is spent in each state, in that ratio we need to divide. Apart from this, any other service in relation to immobile property, usually what we will take as a base of apportionment? Floor area or carpet area, that should be taken as the ratio of apportionment. Then next, Rule 5 and rule 9 is in case of event, organizing an event. What should be taken as place of supply in case of organizing an event? Location of event. And what if the event is in more than one statewide single contract? So both section 12 as well as section 13, the same will be applicable. We need to just take GAAP, that is expenditure ratio. So my contract revenue, I am conducting 4 events in 4 states. For these 4 states, there will be different expenses. My revenue I will recognize based on my expenditure, that is this. Then rule 6. Rule 6 is applicable in case of telecommunication services, that is a fixed line, leased line connection. In this leased line connection, I am connecting multiple branches of your company and I am laying down a leased line, and your branches is in multiple states. Now what you need to do, you need to see the number of circuit points in each state, means number of branches in each state. So that should be taken as the base of apportionment, because in case of fixed line services, location of installation should be taken. So number of installation points in each state should be taken as the base of apportionment. Then rule 7. Rule 7 is applicable in the context of section 13, that is performance based service in relation to individual. Location of performance will be taken. If physical presence of the recipient is required, then in that case, what if void a single contract, we are performing the service in multiple locations? Again, expenditure ratio. You can see there, services supplied to individuals, GAAP, that is expenditure ratio. Suppose if it is performance based service in relation to goods. Goods means we need to see location of performance, but what if it is in multiple states? Is it the same goods or different goods? You see, if it is the same goods, then we need to take equal ratio. If it is different goods, invoice value ratio. For example, there is a foreign company with which I have entered into AMC contract, AMC of the computers, and the computers is in multiple branches in India, same goods. So therefore, entire consideration I received, I will apportion between the states in equal ratio. For example, in one state computers, another state data centers, at another state air conditioners. Now what is the invoice value of computers? What is the invoice value of data centers? What is the invoice value of air conditioners? In that ratio I need to divide, that is this. So this is about the rules. So you need to just learn the basis of apportionment, that is sufficient. If at all you get a question, you can use this and you can apportion it between the states. Then the next area that we have is circulars, circulars on place of supply. In these circulars, the first point, so they have added some newly circulars also. So the first point is old one only, that is in case of export of services, what should be taken as the value of export of service? Let's try to understand this particular circular through an example, that is Mr. A is located in India. Mr. A is located in India, who entered into contract with Mr. X, who is in US, to provide the services. First, A has entered into contract with X, contract to provide services, contract to provide services. And what happened? So A provided some services, but A could not provide all the services. So now A entered into contract with another person. So another person, Mr. B. Where is Mr. B located? In US. In US. So A entered into contract with B. Okay. A entered into contract with B to receive services. To receive services. Okay. A entered into contract with B to receive services. First A entered into contract with X to provide the services. A entered into contract with B to receive services, wherein B should not provide services to A, but on behalf of A should provide services to X. On behalf of Mr. A should provide the services, B should provide the services to X. This is the contract. Okay. Now you understood that there are two contracts. Contract number 1, A should provide the services to X, and another contract where A is receiving the services from B, but B is not directly providing to A. On behalf of A is rendering services to X, but B will raise invoice to A. Now, who will raise invoice to whom? First, invoice number 1. Invoice number 1 will be raised by A to X. Invoice number 1 will be raised by A to X. Invoice 1. Invoice 1 is for say $5,000. Invoice 1 is for $5,000. Now invoice number 2. Who will be raising invoice number 2 to whom? B will be raising invoice number 2. Invoice number 2 for rupees $2,000 is raised by B to A. Now what happens? A should pay anyhow $2,000 to Mr. B. So A requested X to remit $3,000 to A and pay $2,000 to B. So what X did, he has remitted so $3,000 to A and he remitted the $2,000 to B. $2,000 to B. Anyhow, he need to pay $5,000. Thereafter, that $5,000 needs to be given to B. So therefore, X is directly paying $3,000. This is known as bilateral netting. So X is directly paying $3,000 to A and $2,000 to B. So thereby, the unnecessary conversion from dollar to rupee is not there for $2,000. Now, even though he raised an invoice for $5,000, but he received only $3,000. Now, what should be taken as value of export of service? What should be taken as value of export of service? Whether it is $5,000 or $3,000, the circular says we need to take $5,000. Even though the consideration actually received is $3,000, even though BRC, bank realization certificate, and FIRC, foreign inward remittance certificate, is for $3,000, but the value of export of service should be $5,000. For that reason only they gave this circular. You can see here the value of export of service is the invoice value but not the amount received. Invoice value, that is value of export, is the invoice value but not the amount received. That is with respect to this. Then second point. Now B is raising invoice to A, na? So will that become import of service? Yes, of course, that will become import of service. So value of import of service. How come there is import of service? B is the service provider located outside India, A is the service recipient located in India. So value of import of service, value of import of service is $2,000, on which A, Mr. A shall pay GST under RCM. Mr. A shall pay GST under RCM. Even though B has not directly provided services to A, B provided the services to X, and which means B is outside India, X is outside India. Actually, there is one exemption. If both supplier and recipient are located outside India, then the service should be exempted. In that context, it should become exempted now. That's why they are clarifying. Even though B and X are located outside India, first of all, for B, X is not the recipient, A is only recipient, because the one who is liable to pay consideration is the recipient, not the one who already paid the consideration. Even though the consideration is paid by X, but the one who is liable to pay consideration is A, so A should be taken as the recipient in this case. Accordingly, it will become import of services. That's what it is given. It is clarified that the supplier of service located in India would be liable to pay IGST on reverse charge. Would be liable to pay IGST on reverse charge basis on the import of services on that portion of services which has been provided by supplier located outside India to the recipient located outside India. Got it? So that is about this circular. Next one, where is the place of supply in case of cargo handling services? Cargo handling services are provided by custodians. That is, as soon as the goods are unloaded, they will keep the containers, and thereafter upon payment of customs duty and bill of entry, etc. and all, once the out of customs charge order is given, they will hand over the cargo to the importer, for which they will be collecting some charges called as custodian charges for providing the cargo handling services. But this cargo handling services can be interpreted to be renting of immobile property, because they are providing service in relation to immobile property by storing the goods, but for which CBSE clarified that cargo handling service is way beyond warehousing services. They are not just doing warehousing, so they are acting as a custodian to the goods. Due to that reason, it cannot be interpreted as service in relation to immobile property, and as we don't have any other specific provision, so general provisions will be taken. Is it clear or not? Now, next one, you can see third point. So for second point, in case of cargo handling services, the place of supply should be determined on the basis of general provisions and not in terms of service in relation to immobile property. So general provisions will be applicable in this case. Where is the place of supply in case of software testing on the prototypes imported? I am importing a prototype and I am also importing the software to test on the prototype. So whether the software is properly working for this hardware or not, I am doing the testing of the software. Now the question comes, is it performance based service in relation to goods or is it software testing? If it is performance based service in relation to goods, section 13, location of performance will be taken as a place of supply. But if it is software testing, for software testing we don't have any provision, so general provision will be applicable. So what they are telling is that what we are doing testing is on the software, not on the prototype. So due to that reason, it is a software testing which is an ancillary to software development. So for that, general provisions will be applicable. So place of supply for software design by supplier located in taxable territory to the service recipient located in non-taxable territory by using sample prototype or hardware test kits is a composite supply, wherein such testing is an ancillary supply. Where such testing is an ancillary supply is the location of service recipient as per section 13.2. What is section 13.2? General provisions. 12 subsection 2 is general provision, 13 subsection 2 is also general provisions. So general provision will be taken as a place of supply. The next one, where is the place of supply in case of cutting and polishing services on unpolished diamonds imported? So whenever we are importing some unpolished diamonds, and those unpolished diamonds we are doing polishing and cutting and we are exporting, for which we have exception number 1. Exception number 1 says if goods are temporarily imported for carrying out repairs or any process and it is exported after repairs or process without put to use, the location of recipient should be taken as a place of supply. It is not location where services are actually performed. So in case of cutting and polishing activity on unpolished diamonds which are temporarily imported into India or not put to any use in India and are exported, the place of supply would be determined as per the provisions of contained in section 13.2 of IGST Act, that is exception number 1. If you observe all circulars, I will tell you in one line, you can remember place of supply is general provisions. Read. Every circular you read, the place of supply will be general provisions only, because whenever you see, so second one general provisions, third one general provisions, fourth one general provisions, fifth one general provisions, sixth one general provisions, all these amendments also general provisions only, which means the moment you get a question on circular, the answer is general provisions. Okay, but the reasoning you need to write. So only for writing the reasoning you will get marks, because even ICA also know that general provision is the answer. Every student will write general provision only, but why general provision? Why not other provision? That only you need to write. Okay, so therefore don't underline general provision. It is of no use. So we should underline why it will not come under other services. That is what you need to give justification. So here what you need to give justification, it will not come under immovable property services and it will not come under service in relation to, that is performance based service in relation to goods. Okay, so not fall under performance based services, in relation to goods, Okay, then what about this? This is also not coming under performance based. This is common point for both. Will not come under performance based service in relation to goods because it comes under exception 1. So the reasoning is what you will get marks for, not for writing the answer. Then next one, where is the place of supply in case of advertisement on hoarding? Generally in case of advertisement on hoarding, there are two supplies. That is, first there is a property owner or vendor. That property owner or vendor will be allowing you to put your hoarding, your advertising company, and you will put your hoarding in that particular property. Now the property vendor will be receiving some money, that is service in relation to immovable property. The location of immovable property will be taken as the place of supply. Now you advertising company, what you will do? You will permit other person to display their ad in the hoarding which you already own. Now in this case, that advertisement services, we don't have any specific provision. Only advertisement service to government we have specific provision, but general advertisement service you don't have general specific provision, so general provision will be applicable. In some instances what will happen, the company which want to put the advertisement will directly approach the vendor, will tell, sir, your location is so beautiful for my company's product, so due to that reason I will place the hoarding and I will only take care of advertisement, etc. and all. Now there are no two supplies, only one supply is there between the vendor and the client. Now therefore it will be service in relation to immovable property. So place of supply of service with respect to advertising sector. First, between vendor and the advertising company. between vendor and the advertising company. So service in relation to immobile property between the advertising company and the client. So first one is actually between whom and whom? Between so property owner, vendor, between vendor and advertising company, between vendor and advertising company, that is this. Whereas this is between whom? So this is between advertising company, this is between advertising company and client, advertising company and client. So we need to take general provisions. So location of recipient in the records of supplier, otherwise location of supplier. Then next one, where is the place of supply in case of service of co-working spaces? For co-working spaces, what will happen? Usually co-working space is just the place which will be given for the purpose for the people to use that. There will be lot of common areas like conference room will be common, toilet will be common, cafeteria will be common, and for different businesses they will be just dividing the office rooms and they will be giving it. That is what co-working space, lot of people are there into this business, that is mere renting. So in that case it is service in relation to immobile property. But there are some co-working spaces which is beyond that. What they do is that they will provide lot of IT services, IT services like like networking or server room or like even surveillance, then this firewall and even the CCTV installation, internet, all the facilities they will provide. And in that case the mere renting, actually renting is nominal there compared to these services, where renting is just a few 5,000 rupees or 6,000 compared to this service which will be 30,000, 40,000 rupees per month. Then in that case definitely it is not renting, it will be coming under IT services, which is general provisions. You can see place of supply for renting of space for its own servers and other computing hardwares with basic infrastructure. No additional services are provided. Then service in relation to immobile property. Suppose if additional services are provided by supplier relating to hosting and IT infrastructure services like network connectivity, so that intranet, then backup facility, firewall services and monitoring surveillance services. In that case it cannot be considered as renting of immobile property, so we need to go for general provisions. Then number 7, where is the place of supply in case of data hosting services provided by a person in India to a cloud computing service provider located outside India? For example, Netflix is there. Netflix wanted to provide services streaming to lot of customers in India. For that purpose, definitely they will not provide the server outside India. The server will be in India. Server will be in India, and that server will be belonging to one data hosting service provider. So in that server, for example, I am a data hosting service provider. What should I do? First I need to get a land, and that land should not be agricultural land and all. So I need to take a permission from government, and I need to create a proper infrastructure. One land I need to take, and I need to construct one building, and I need to create lot of power backup facilities, like maybe turbines I will create, or I will keep solar panels and I will create a power backup, and I will install lot of ACs, etc. I keep that place so cool, and then what I will do, I will create a hosting service. In that hosting service, now Netflix will approach me and it will ask, sir, I need your hosting area for the purpose of hosting my content, because GBs and GBs of TBs of content they will be having, a number of movies, a number of series, etc. that I need to keep in this hosting service. And then lot of people will be coming and accessing, means that much of capacity my server should be having. Now I am a data hosting service provider. I am providing services to Netflix outside India, supplier in India, recipient outside India, wherein the customers, that is the Netflix customers, is coming and accessing my data hosting service. This is the scenario. Now what should be taken as the place of supply? Question number 1, will it become intermediary service? No, it is not intermediary service, because my service is not just the connection and going. My service is a continuity, which means I am not just connecting the seller and the buyer, I am providing service. It is like outsourcing. So therefore it is not intermediary services. As the same is on principal to principal basis, it is not an intermediary service. So that is what first point you need to write. Second point, So now what happens, some of the storage will be provided by Netflix. Netflix will have lot of storage devices with them. So therefore they will be providing me storage devices. In that storage devices, I will be just hosting it in my platform, which is like, see, even though I have a server, in that server, the pen drive, storage means you try to understand in your mind, laptop is the server, and in that laptop, pen drive I need to insert, okay. So that pen drive only data will be there. Like that, they have given me pen drive, which I am connecting it to my hosting service, okay. Now, in this case, whether it will come under performance based service in relation to goods, no, it will not come under performance based service in relation to goods, because I am not doing anything on the goods imported, got it. So it is beyond, I have to provide lot of things. I need to ensure that the system is not turning off, so always it should be active, and lot of idiots will come and access the system. I need to put lot of safety measures in this. Are you understanding this? So that is this, even though hardware is provided by the recipient, it is not performance based service in relation to goods. It is not performance based service in relation to goods, as the principal supply involves innumerable services like arranging premises, connectivity, security, human resources, etc. and all. Then, okay, so as it is like a place which I am giving you to use, can we take it as service in relation to immovable property? No. So just any place is not sufficient. Place is cheaper. Place will be available cheaper, but to create this infrastructure, many crores it will be required. So it cannot be treated as service in relation to immovable property, as the same does not involve mere renting. So 3 points you need to write. It is not intermediary service, it is not performance based service in relation to goods, and it is not renting of immovable property. Consequently, it is general provisions. Okay, conclusion is that only, that it is general provisions. So location of recipient will be taken as the place of supply, but the reasoning you need to write. So you can see one question related to this, how you may get a question I have just given. Tech Hub Data Services Private Limited, an Indian data hosting service provider, enters into contract with Cloudcom Solutions, a cloud computing service provider based in Singapore, for providing data hosting services. Tech Hub operates a large data center in Bengaluru, which Cloudcom uses to host its cloud computing services. The agreement stipulates that the Tech Hub will handle the infrastructure management, equipment maintenance and IT monitoring for the cloud services offered by Cloudcom. They entered into contract on April 1 with an annual service fee of 10 crores, foreign exchange converted to Indian rupees, where the payments are made on a quarterly basis. Evaluate whether the data hosting services provided by Tech Hub to Cloudcom qualify as intermediary services. No, it is not intermediary services, as the contract is on principal to principal basis. Determine the place of supply for service provided by Tech Hub to Cloudcom based on the given facts. So what will be taken? We need to apply general provisions, and location of recipient should be taken as place of supply. What is the location of recipient? So Singapore. Singapore will be taken as the place of supply. Then third, analyze whether the services provided by Tech Hub Data Services qualify as export of service. So in order to become export of service, 5 conditions should be satisfied. Supplier should be in India. Yes, Tech Hub is located in India. Recipient should be outside India. Yes, that is in Singapore. Place of supply, location of recipient, that is Singapore. And they are receiving convertible foreign exchange. Supplier and recipient are not two establishments of the same person. So as all the conditions are satisfied, it is an export of service. Determine the place of supply. If Cloudcom Solutions is an entity based in India, if it is an entity based in India, there is no confusion, because always general provisions, location of recipient only will be taken as place of supply, that is in India. Next, we have 8th one, where is the place of supply in case of services by an advertising agency to a foreign client, where such advertising agency provides comprehensive advertising services including recovery of charges paid to media owners. For example, say there is one mobile company. That mobile company wanted me to do the advertising in India. So they are telling like, so you are an advertising company, you know the pulse of the audience here, so therefore you please do the promotion. So thereby we will get a good thing, and we will give the entire contract to you. You only pay the media channels like digital marketing, like everything you do, and you pay to the media houses like TV channels, etc. You pay, and whatever is the amount you recover from us, which means I am not an intermediary. Why I am not an intermediary? I am not just connecting the TV channels and the foreign company. I am also doing the advertisement design. So due to that reason, I will not be called as a intermediary, because the strategizing is very important, because if you are not properly strategizing, then no one will know about it and it may backfire also. So for that, a careful strategy and implementation is required, that is beyond just connecting the seller and the buyer or supplier and the recipient. So the advertising company is providing services to a foreign client on principal to principal basis and is not acting as an intermediary. So the place of supply will be as per general provisions and it may qualify for export of services. So another question, XYZ Advertising Private Limited based in Mumbai provides comprehensive advertising services to Global Fashion Limited, a company headquartered in the UK. The service involves end-to-end campaign management including media buying, content creation, strategy and design. XYZ Advertising has entered into 2 agreements, one with the foreign client, that is Global Fashion Limited, for managing the advertising campaign, and the other with an Indian media company to purchase media space for the advertisement. Okay, basically they enter into 2 contracts, one with the foreign client Global Fashion, another with the Indian media company to procure the space for advertisement. The cost structure for the project includes 20 lakhs for the media space subject to 18% IGST and 10 lakhs for content creation and strategy services also subject to 18% GST. XYZ Advertising invoices Global Fashion Limited for rupees 30 lakhs, 20 lakhs for media space and 10 lakhs for other services and receives payment in foreign exchange. The media company issues a separate invoice to XYZ Advertising. The problem is that expenditure incurred as a pure agent will not come. Read the question carefully. In case of expenditure incurred on pure agent point to get attracted, the invoice should be in whose name? See, here XYZ Advertising Agency is the supplier and they are incurring the expenditure on behalf of the recipient, but the invoice should be in the name of the recipient, but the invoice is in the name of supplier XYZ Advertising. So the pure agent point will not be applicable in this case. Is it clear? Because in order to become pure agent, so 4 conditions should be satisfied. Contractual obligation, wherein through contract recipient should authorize supplier to incur the expenditure. Only the actual amount incurred should be recovered, and the title should not be in the name of the supplier and it should not be used for the personal purpose of the supplier. Here title is in the name of the supplier, that's why pure agent will not come. Point number 1, will XYZ Advertising be considered as intermediary in this transaction? No, not considered as intermediary, because they are acting on a principal to principal basis and they are providing advertisement services. Therefore it is not just connecting the media house and the Global Fashion Limited. So it is not an intermediary service. Number 2, what is the place of supply for the service provided by XYZ Advertising? General provisions. Location of recipient should be taken. What is the location of recipient? That Global Fashion is in UK, that will be taken as place of supply. Whether service provided by XYZ Advertising fall under 0 rated, so supplier should be in India. First it is 5 conditions. Supplier should be in India, yes. Recipient should be outside India, yes. And place of supply should be outside India, yes. Consideration should be in convertible foreign exchange. So is it given that consideration is in convertible foreign exchange? Yes. Receives payment in foreign exchange. Then supplier and recipient are not two establishments of the same person. So yes, it will become export of services. 4, can XYZ Advertising avail ITC with respect to payment made to media company? So XYZ can avail ITC because the point is that invoice is in the name of XYZ Advertising. So yes, they can definitely avail ITC with respect to that. Then can XYZ consider the payment made to media company as expenditure incurred as a pure agent in terms of Rule 33? So we are connecting place of supply with value of supply. No, cannot be considered. Why? Because invoice is in the name of the supplier and conditions for pure agent is not fulfilled due to that reason. Then last circular, where is the place of supply in case of custodial services offered by banks or financial institutions to foreign portfolio investors? Foreign portfolio investors will approach lot of banks for the purpose of receiving custodial services. Custodial service means the bank will act as a custodian for the equity investment made by the foreign portfolio investors in Indian companies. So whatever meetings, participation in the meetings, or dividend, collection of dividends and retention of the equity instruments, everything will be done by these banks. And whether this is coming under banking services to account holders? No, because foreign portfolio investors will not be having any account with the bank. Yes, it's a banking service, but if you see only banking services to account holders, place of supply will be location of supplier, as it is not to account holders. So general provisions, got it? Say this, as foreign portfolio investors are not account holders of bank, not account holders of banks or financial institution, place of supply is determined as per general provisions. Okay, so one more question, you say this, question number 12. ABC Bank Limited, a leading bank in India, provides custodial services to XYZ Investment Group, a foreign portfolio investor registered in USA. ABC Bank safeguards the financial assets of XYZ Investment Group, maintains records, facilitates transaction settlements and collects dividends on behalf of FPI. The details of the service provided by ABC Bank Limited are as follows. Custodial service fee, how much they are collecting? 50 lakhs for the financial year. Then location of service provider Mumbai, location of recipient New York, USA. Determine the place of supply. Definitely it is not banking services to account holders. So due to that reason it will be general provision. So USA will be taken. Then will the custodial services qualify as export of service? Yes. Supplier in India, recipient outside India, place of supply outside India, and is the custodial fee in convertible foreign exchange? So is it given that it is in foreign exchange? So details of services, no, there is no information, so we need to take the assumption that the consideration is received in convertible foreign exchange. Then supplier and recipient are not to establishments of the same person, then it will become export of services. If nothing is given, you take in the question if, you put a if like that. If the consideration is in convertible foreign exchange, then it will become export of services. Put a if condition and give. So answer positively, don't answer negatively. Always to the extent possible answer positively, okay? Positivity helps. Then next, what will be your answer if the custodial services are provided to Indian investors? Then anyhow, we need to take general provisions only, because the confusion is only in case of section 13, because banking service to account holders we have a different provision, but when it is to banking service to Indian people, so we don't have any specific provision. By default it will be general provision. Then that is this. Next, look into the next page. So section 13(6) overrides other provisions of section 13 of IGST Act. This already they have tested, I don't think so they will be asking. In MCQ in November 24 they have tested this. That is, there are 4 services. Service in relation to immobile property, performance based service in relation to goods. In case of service in relation to immobile property, what is the place of supply? Location of immobile property. Performance based service in relation to goods, location of performance. Performance based service in relation to individual, location of performance. Organizing an event, location of event. What if it is partly in India, partly outside India? If it is partly in India, partly outside India, wide a single contract, the place of supply will be entirely in India, and thereafter we need to divide it between the states based on the rules. What if it is fully in India? No problem, India. What if fully outside India? Outside India. What if it is partly in India, partly outside India? Wide a single contract. In MCQ they have asked case scenario MCQ. So marriage, partly in India, partly outside India, what will be taken like that? So our so-called intelligent fellows have written, so for reception it is here, for marriage it is there, like that. But actually partly in India, partly outside India, it will be place of supply India. Okay. Then section 14(1), liability to pay GST in case of import of OIDR services by non-taxable online recipient. Already we know import of OIDR services by NTOR. Who will pay GST? Supplier outside India. But here they have brought in one special point that supplier outside India will be difficult to determine. So there will be an intermediary outside India who will connect that supplier and the recipient in India. Let's put the burden on the intermediary. Example, there is a game developer. That game developer is outside India, and App Store or Play Store is the intermediary through which only you will download the game and you will pay money also. Now in that case, even though liability to pay GST is on the game developer outside India, but the primary liability is on the intermediary because it is convenient to collect the tax from the intermediary rather than the supplier, for which they created this 14 subsection 1. So first there is a import of OIDR services. It by non-taxable on recipient, it is taxable under FCM. Supplier is outside India, recipient is in India, place of supply is in India, location of recipient, because for OIDR services general provisions only na, so location of recipient in India. Now it is import of services. First check whether there involves an intermediary. No, there is no intermediary, then definitely supplier only will pay GST. Yes, there is an intermediary. Where that intermediary is in India? Yes. Whether the intermediary is in India, that is outside India? No. So outside India? No. Then in India, so who will pay? Supplier only will pay. When the intermediary will pay? If the intermediary is located outside India. Whether the intermediary is outside India? Yes. Then whether the intermediary satisfies any one condition? Yes, the intermediary will pay GST. What is that one condition? Number 1, whether the invoice is given by the intermediary? Yes. Or the payment is received by the intermediary? Yes. Or whether the delivery is authorized by intermediary? Yes. Whether the terms and conditions are fixed by intermediary? Yes. Then intermediary, any one condition satisfied, intermediary will pay. No, then supplier only will pay. Example, you are downloading Netflix app. When you are downloading Netflix app, so too many Netflix example when I am giving, don't think it is a paid promotion for Netflix. 1 rupee also I will not get. Okay. So therefore, because nowadays people speak too much about brand, mean they will be getting money. So that's what my team also said. Sir, many brand names and all you will be telling. So can we ask for a paid promotion? Who am I here? Why will they give me here? 1 rupee also they will not give. Okay. Because half of the population is not subscribing to my channel, and number of subscribers also very less for me. And where from? They will come, they will watch and they will go. Once subscribe you do na, you will not do. For balloon akka, tailor akka and all you will do subscribe. Okay. You will not do for me here. Okay. So say this. So Netflix is supplier outside India. Now when you download the Netflix app, so this particular Netflix app when you are downloading, will you get any invoice from the Play Store, App Store? No, you will not get any invoice. And when you need to subscribe to Netflix, where are we subscribing, sir? Telegram we are watching. No, suppose if you are subscribing, I am telling, if you are subscribing, you will make payment through App Store or Play Store, or directly you will go to Netflix and pay. Directly you need to go to Netflix website, create the username, password, and you need to pay there. Then only this app will work here. So therefore, payment not collected by intermediary, invoice not raised by intermediary, payment not collected by intermediary, delivery authorized by intermediary. You made the payment there, but the movie is not coming here. Can we complain to Play Store, App Store? They will not respond also for this. Okay, they are no way connected. And terms and conditions. Say for example, your username, password you have posted everywhere, so everyone can watch, but parallel viewing difficulty is there. You are also watching, other person also will be watching at that time. So this terms and conditions who will fix? App Store, Play Store? No, supplier, Netflix only will fix. Means none of these conditions are satisfied by intermediary. They are not giving invoice, they are not collecting money, they are not fixing terms and conditions, and they are not authorizing delivery. So the original supplier only will pay GST. If any one condition is satisfied, the intermediary shall pay GST. Then next, section 14 subsection 2. Wherever that supplier or intermediary is liable to pay GST, they need to register mandatorily, compulsory registration. First check whether the original supplier or intermediary have physical presence in India. Yes, then they will apply for simplified registration and pay IGST. No, they don't have any physical presence. Do they have representative in India? Yes. Then such representative can apply for simplified registration and pay. No. Then in case of e-commerce operator also the similar discussion we have made. And in that I told you they shall appoint a representative, but here it is not shall appoint, may appoint a representative. Option 1, may appoint a representative. That representative will register and pay IGST, or they can continue their operations outside India and still they can register and pay IGST. So this is an exception to e-commerce operator. In case of e-commerce operator, if they don't have a representative, they shall appoint a representative. Then next one, section 14A, liability to pay IGST on import of online money gaming. So supply of online money gaming by a person located outside India to any person located in India is chargeable to GST under FCM. So any person, not necessarily registered person, unregistered person, on import of online money gaming, always supplier outside India, the game developer or the gaming company outside India only will pay GST. Now, do they have, means should they register and pay? Of course they need to register and pay. Do they have physical presence in India? Yes. They will apply for simplified registration and pay IGST. No. Whether they have representative in India? Yes. Then that representative can apply for simplified registration. They neither have physical presence nor they have representative in India. They shall appoint a representative. That representative shall register and pay IGST. Is it clear? But shall, like e-commerce operator, not may, shall appoint a representative, register and pay. What if they are not complying with that provisions? Then that particular online money gaming platform will be blocked for access. Okay. Thereafter, we need to go to UK, US or Korea, Japan and all. So night times you go on regularly. So you need to go and visit that. If that supplier is not complying with the provisions, their information or website or application shall be liable to be blocked for access. That's it. With this we completed place of supply chapter.